your deepest purpose, our deepest purpose for each and every one of us is to be ourselves. The more ourselves we are, the more we align with our true essence and nature, the more our purpose will unravel naturally without us trying. It's really leaning into what is natural. It is not about perfection. What really matters is how deeply you are connected to yourself and your intuition and the divine as well, guiding you, like trusting that you are guided at every step of the way. Remember that the only thing that matters really moving forward is you being yourself. You being honest with where you are, not trying to put on a new role, a new persona, and understanding that the perfection is in your essence, is in your vulnerability, is in the absence of protection. You might start to really feel increasingly over the last few months this conflict between there is something new, almost a new destiny, a new sense of purpose, a new sense of self, a new sense of self-actualization that is emerging and that is being born, and yet at the very same time layers and layers of doubt and confusion and a sense of loss, maybe loss of meaning, things falling away, people leaving, creating this inner conflict within yourself between fully stepping into the new, being carried by this energy, and also the challenges to let the old behind. The energies of 2025 are very radical. There is a sense of fully breaking out of the old. The potential for these energies is a sense of not only renewal, but also reintroduction, reinvention of yourself. But in a way, it's not necessarily about becoming someone new. It's rather about remembering who you are. It's about trusting yourself, and it's about releasing all of the layers that have been piled up throughout your whole life in order for you to be protected. So the first theme that I want to talk about is the liberation of the unconditioned self. I want to talk about the transition from Pluto in Capricorn into Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto will be in Aquarius for about 20 years. Capricorn really represents the conditioned, the limitation, the box, the physical structure of our existence. And it has a lot to do with authority, and especially external sense of authority coming from structures and society that is outside ourselves, that is dictating the way things should be. It also comes down to the conditioning, and this is really the point that I want to make with this video and this theme today. The conditioning that we received throughout our lives as a child and growing up with our family and our society, the condition that we received from someone else, and the layers that we've built upon our true essence in order to build a sense of identity, kind of safe structure within which we can navigate the world. This can be a simple example as a learned behavior of people pleasing, of needing to be nice, to suppress your own needs in order to make sure that someone else is okay, and to build this habit of appease the situation and really learning to emphasize with that person so that you receive back some form of love and validation. Now, this pattern, it's something that you've learned. It's not inherently who you are. Now, this is one layer that can come up. You can see more clearly that is being layered on top of who you truly are. Who you truly are, which is really what Aquarius is all about. When we talk about Aquarius, we talk about liberation and freedom. And that liberation, that freedom is really to break free from the conditioned self, to break free from the conditioning that we receive throughout our lives, so that the only thing that remains is our true essence, is our pure state of freedom and aliveness. But this requires a prolonged time of contemplation and really a willingness to break free, to start bringing perspective and leaning back from those different structures and those different patterns that we've learned, to understand that this is not who you are, this is only what you've learned, and to bring the compassion and the patience and the understanding to process what needed to be processed and hasn't been processed before, to really carry this intention and this devotion more and more to be yourself. What I feel is arising is a gradual sense of the desire to define oneself based upon one's own true nature, in opposition to being defined by others. A commitment, a self-commitment to your inner freedom, to your inner truth. Knowing that fears will be coming up, the fears that you haven't faced before, and the fears that you've repressed, but it's understanding that some things need to be felt and need to be released and let go of for that part to actually really come into the fullness of its potential for self-expression. We are vibrational beings. Ultimately, our core essence comes down to a creative force. The more you release the fears, the more you learn to hold yourself as you move through the fears, and you are trusting what is emerging, and you are leaning more and more into the potential and the joy and the creative expression that wants to be emerging. Okay, so a little change of scenery. Things don't always go according to plan. What I was saying, really, with this sense of creative, vibrational energy that is rising, is that ultimately the aim is to reconnect to our purpose. A purpose and a path that is rooted in truth. Many of us, many of the people around you will experience a shift in career, a shift in work, because if the work or the path that you've established in your life has been based upon some fake personas or fake kind of structures of self built out of what people were expecting from you, it's not sustainable, and those things need to be released and shed away. The relationships that are born not out of truth but out of a sense of security or a sense of something that is not true, whatever is not aligned to truth, will need to be dismantled, will need to be shed and released in order to make space for something that is really aligned with the truth. Now, a lot of the energy rising is really to bring us back into a sense of collaboration. And what is it to be of service? What is it to understand our reciprocity, our interconnection with each other, that we are here to help each other rise. Aquarius represents the individual, the true individual, and yet it also carries the energy of the collective, a collective within which each individual can be themselves and support and help other individuals to be more who they truly are. 2025 is really the year we are asked to be on our path, to get on our path, to stop lying to ourselves, to stop wasting time. There's no more time to be wasted. And I think that the core question that you may want to ask to yourself, instead of what do I want to do, ask yourself, what am I being asked to do? What is the energy that wants to emerge through me? What is calling me and what wants to be expressed through me? So it's more of a really tapping into your inner feeling and your body and your senses and your intuition and your heart to guide you over the mental approach upon what is to be what should be. Again, releasing the shoulds. Now, the second theme is about releasing the perfectionism and reconnecting to your intention. South Node is moving into the sign of Virgo, North Node is moving into the sign of Pisces. I will release a video very shortly that will go more into those themes. But basically for the next 18 months, roughly, we are in this polarity, that is the polarity of service, asking us to release any fake patterns of what it is to procrastinate and to hold back because we believe we are not ready to step into that purpose. Any sense of, I need to be otherwise than who I am in order to do what I'm here to do, needs to be released. It's about really facing your doubts and the stories you are telling yourself, which ultimately you picked up along the way and now are limiting you. As we are moving into more and more of an age of unlimited, of acceleration, of opening, we are being asked to look at our deeper inner stories that are limiting us, that are keeping us smaller than who we really are. You matter. You being yourself matter. When we look at purpose as well, your deepest purpose, our deepest purpose for each and every one of us is to be ourselves. The more ourselves we are, the more we align with our true essence and nature, the more our purpose will unravel naturally without us trying. It's really leaning into what is natural. It is not about perfection. What really matters is how deeply you are connected to yourself and your intuition and the divine as well, guiding you, like trusting that you are guided at every step of the way. Remember that the only thing that matters really moving forward is you being yourself. You being honest with where you are, not trying to put on a new role, a new persona, allowing more to release and understanding that the perfection is in your essence, is in your vulnerability, is in the absence of protection. That perfection that is raw, that is unfiltered, that is honest, that is learning. Giving yourself the patience to be where you are at, to understand what is calling you and where you want to move towards to, but to really cultivate the deepest sense of acknowledgement for where you are. Where you are now is the result of where you've been in the past. And where you are now is really shaping where you are moving towards to in the future. I see this whole thing around releasing the perfectionism really with, we are learning to be authentic. We've never learned to be ourselves. We've always learned to be really who we are not. And I'm not saying this in a judgmental way, because a lot of this has been playing on a very deep unconscious level for us and the people around us and the environment in which we grew up in. But ultimately, to be perfect is to be in your own authenticity, knowing that that authenticity is constantly moving, constantly being expressed. You matter just as you are, showing up just as you are with your devotion, with your heart and your intention. The theme number 3 that I would like to share with you today is the sense of deepening of trust. This is maybe the biggest theme actually, and it's aligning with this North Node in Pisces, and currently we have really big energies that are aligning with those themes because of the transit. Neptune is joining the North Node in Pisces, and basically what that means is that there is simultaneously a sense of loss of meaning, and which brings a state of chaos and confusion, and it's messy, and what even are we doing? Why are we even doing it for? All of this questioning, all of this, what makes life really worth living? What makes life really worth living? It's not easy to be in a space where we don't know, having this sense of emptiness. And yet this is also the space we can really reconnect with meaning, with a capital M, and really remember what is the deeper meaning for our life uniquely. What is your meaning? What creates meaning for you? We are entering an age, a new era where we don't know. It can take any shape, any form. It's highly unpredictable. But there is also room for miracles. There is room for trust. There is room for surrender. There is room for really meeting parts of you and parts of life and parts of what it is to love that you've never met before. And this energy that is really strong right now, that is really taking people into places where they don't know anymore. It's strong right now, but it's gonna evolve and shift as the year keeps moving forward. Cannot be so much described with words. See, to experience true surrender, we can only experience it through certain events in our life that really forces us to surrender, that really forces us to bow down, that forces us to pray, that forces us to open to what is bigger and beyond ourselves. We cannot understand surrender with words. We cannot describe it. It's a feeling. It's like love. So my intention really with this final theme is an invitation for you for now and increasingly through this year, for you to learn to deepen your sense of trust. Trust within yourself, within your truth, but also trust that everything has a purpose. Everything happens for a reason. Whatever you are moving through, whatever will unravel and unfold in the coming weeks and months has a purpose for you to teach you something. Can you stay into a place of curiosity, of wanting to learn and understand and grow what needs to be released, what wants to be born? Can I trust that I am guided in every step of the way?